We're now entering Episode 2. Episode 1 is already live. 12 people have already watched it. If you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely check it out before diving in. Let's continue the journey.
Timur crushed Toktamış in the north. The west had bowed. Now it was the east's turn. In 1398, Timur turned his army toward India. The target was clear: Delhi. India was rich, but plagued by internal chaos. The Delhi Sultanate had grown weak. Timur didn't see this as an opportunity, he saw it as a calling. Thousands of kilometers, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. The goal wasn't just a city. The goal was to carve the name Timur across the entire East. Every resistance along the way was crushed. The Indus River was crossed. The plains of Panipat ran red with blood. And at last, Delhi. December 17, 1398, Timur's army stood at the gates of the capital. A day later, the city fell. But this was more than a victory. It was a message. Delhi was plundered. Thousands were killed. Timur sent a warning. A city that resists does not survive. After the destruction, Timur withdrew. Not a single stone in Delhi remained untouched, but his name lingered in the shadow of every wall. Timur did not build a throne in India, because his empire was not defined by borders, but by fear. Documentary: As Timur returned from the Delhi campaign, his next map was already drawn. This time the target wasn't the wealth of the East, it was the heart of the Islamic world: Baghdad, Aleppo, and Damascus. But now he sought not just land, he sought meaning. Baghdad was once the heart of the caliphate. Now it was a city without power, without direction, folded in on itself. To Timur, such weakness could not be unpunished. In 1401, Timur's army entered Baghdad. The city did not surrender, it resisted. The result: massacre. Historians write of tens of thousands killed, mosques and libraries set ablaze. Some sources claim Timur built a tower for every street, but these towers were not made of stone, they were made of skulls. Yet Timur did not frame this as punishment but as a warning. A city that cannot protect the caliphate does not deserve to bear its name. Aleppo was more than a city for the Mamluks. It was the eastern wall of their realm. Timur struck. The city fell. But the true battle wasn't fought on the field. It was fought in memory. The entire city was burned. Its people were slaughtered. Timur sent a direct message to the Mamluk Sultan. Your strength may lie in Egypt, but I hold the gates of the East. Then came Damascus, one of the Islamic world's great centers of culture and scholarship. This city too fell, but this time one thing was different. A scholar remained. Ibn Khaldun, the famed historian and thinker, entered Timur's tent. They spoke at length, and that meeting would go down in history with these words: he was not a conqueror, he was an era. Timur listened. Ibn Khaldun did not accuse him of destruction. On the contrary, he said, he is one who resets systems. Baghdad, Aleppo, and Damascus, all three burned. All three fell silent. But for Timur, these campaigns were not just about destroying cities. They were a way of proposing a new order for the entire Islamic world. Now only one destination remained: Anatolia. And there, someone much like him was waiting: Yildirim Bayezid. Two great commanders, two different eras, two opposing worldviews. One, a steppe storm rising from the east. The other, the lightning of Anatolia. And now, They stand face to face, on the same land, for the same throne. Early 1400s, Timur had burned Delhi, crushed Baghdad, and silenced Damascus. But in the west there was a sultan, one who refused to submit, who scorned Timur's envoys and claimed to be his equal, Yildirim Bayezid. For Timur, this was unacceptable. While Timur was in the east, Bayezid had forcefully annexed the Turkish principalities in Anatolia. These beyliks, claiming Timur's protection, appealed to him for help. For Timur, this wasn't merely about land, it was a blow to his prestige. And to protect that prestige, he came. Reason 2. Struggle for sovereignty. Who is the true Khan? Timur saw himself as the heir of Genghis Khan, the supreme ruler of the East. Bayezid was merely a sultan, yet in his letters he openly challenged Timur. Timur replied, "If you are a sultan, I am a Khan. If you are the sword of God, I am his whip." This letter was not just rhetoric, it was a declaration of war. Reason 3. The Silk Road and trade rivalry. The Ottomans began to control key transit routes across Anatolia. This posed a serious threat to Timur's trade network stretching from east to west. Timur's message was clear: if you block my trade routes, I will erase you from history. Reason 4. Personal insults and the matter of pride. Bayezid humiliated Timur's envoys and responded to his letters with scorn. This was taken as a direct personal insult. In steppe culture, such disrespect was cleansed with blood. Timur kept that promise and marched toward Anatolia. Documentary. Morning of July 28th. The Chubuk Plain was silent, but that silence marked the calm before one of the greatest battles in history. Timur's army numbered around 140,000, equipped with war machines, elephants, and, most importantly, rested and high in morale. Bayezid's army had around 85,000 soldiers, but they were exhausted, marching for days without food or water. And within their ranks hid a deeper danger: the Anatolian beyliks. Timur's three-phase battle plan. 1. Psychological pressure. Cut off water sources days before the battle. Weakened Ottoman morale with constant night raids. Shattered trust between Rumelian and Anatolian troops. 2. Double-flanked encirclement. Elephants placed at the front to frighten and scatter Ottoman cavalry. Heavy cavalry held the center. Wings were prepared to retreat and flank. The goal: to pull the Ottomans into the center and encircle them from both sides. 3. The defection strategy. Secret promises made to Anatolian beylik forces. During the battle, these units switched sides. The Ottoman formation collapsed instantly. The battle began. The sight of Timur's elephants shattered the Ottoman cavalry. The center advanced, but Timur's plan was already in motion. At the most critical moment, the Anatolian beyliks switched sides. The Ottoman flanks and rear collapsed. Bayezid was surrounded. Collapse and captivity. The battle ended before noon. The Ottoman army was routed. Bayezid tried to escape, but he was captured and brought in chains to Timur's tent. Many legends surround that moment, but one quote is recorded in the chronicles. To capture a great enemy is greater than defeating a small one. Aftermath of the battle. The Ottoman throne fractured. The Anatolian Beyliks regained their independence. The Ottomans entered an 11-year civil war known as the interregnum, Fetret Devri. Timur was etched into history as the man who shattered without conquering. The Battle of Ankara was more than a battle. It was the collapse of a system. Timur triumphed. Bayezid was taken prisoner, and this victory became one of history's greatest turning points. Timur defeated Bayezid, but for him, victory on the battlefield was only the beginning. The real blow came after the war, a blow that shattered a dynasty, divided a nation, and brought an empire to a silent halt. Bayezid was not alone. With him was his wife, a Byzantine princess, and his son, Musa Chalebi. Timur paraded them before the public. A sultan stripped of his honor, his royal bloodline broken. Some sources say he was kept in a cage. Others say Timur spoke with him often. But no matter the version, he was no longer a symbol of the Ottomans, but of Timur. He died in 1403. The cause remains unknown: illness, heart failure, or suicide. But one thing is certain: an emperor died not upon a throne, but in chains. Timur brought the Anatolian Beyliks to his side, one by one. To each, he spoke like a grandfather. Bayezid oppressed you. I am giving your state back to you. But soon these Beyliks turned on one another. No one knew who to follow. Order collapsed. Anatolia fell into pieces. Timur did not build an empire, but he toppled one. And by setting the Beyliks free, he pushed them onto a path where they could never unite again. Bayezid was dead, but he left behind 4 sons and 4 separate armies. The Ottoman throne had become a battlefield. The interregnum began. For 11 years, the Ottomans had no sultan, only fratricide, betrayal, and division. This may have been Timur's most lasting victory. He no longer needed armies to break an empire. Bursa, the heart of the Ottomans, became his next stop. Palaces were plundered. The people were punished. Izmir, then under the control of Christian knights, was captured by Timur. To both East and West, he sent a message: I am not just the power of the East. I am the balance of this entire continent. Why didn't Timur stay? He crushed armies, toppled dynasties, and redrew maps. Yet Timur did not stay to rule Anatolia. Because he wasn't a settler, he was a storm, a force that came, shattered, and moved on. His goal was never to sit on thrones, but to prove that no throne was safe from his reach. For Timur, conquest was not about borders, it was about legacy. And his legacy was already carved into ruins, written in fire, and whispered through fear, from Delhi to Damascus. This is the end of episode 2. The story doesn't end here, it only gets deeper. Subscribe now to follow the next chapter in Timur's unstoppable journey.
Came not to rule, not to wear the crown, but to split the earth beneath their feet and bring empires down. His armies pass like fire, his name a silent storm. No chains, no flags he planted, just shattered every form. He didn't conquer, he dismantled, left no kings, only thrones and dust. He didn't stay, he vanished, but his shadow haunts the rust. He broke the bond, split the blood, turned a nation into shards. Timur didn't build a kingdom, he rewrote the fate in scars. He freed the chains to bind again, said old lords lose to war. The swords they raised in gratitude soon cut through even more. He burned the capital silence, dragged pride through beaten roads, and left behind a haunted peace where only ghosts now spoke. He didn't conquer, he dismantled, left no kings, only thrones and dust. He didn't stay, he vanished, but his shadow haunts the rust. He broke the bond, split the blood, turned a nation into shards. Timur didn't build a kingdom, he rewrote the fate in scars. He gave no crown, he wrote no law, but every empire still feels his flaw. Timur passed like thunder, but left no footprints to track, just echoes in a broken map.